Welcome back to Venus Improbable Dream. In the last time we made a not so good choice and we got to a not so great ending. For fascination is a little bit intriguing, but for emotions it's certainly not intriguing whatsoever. But let us make a better choice by selecting forget it. It doesn't seem right. Gazing at her as she wears a content expression, I realise what the most important thing is in all of this. It's her dream, not anybody else's. She's probably more serious about playing music than any of the other members in this club. Not only that, but now that she's learning the one piece that she loves above all else, I think she deserves to be given the chance to see that through, even if her past attempts haven't worked out. It means that the two of us won't perform side by side, but we can still support each other, and I get the feeling that that's what Haruka would prefer. Just one close friend to cheer her on, not a whole group of people she doesn't know at all. Re-evaluating my response, I inject a casual nonchalance into my voice. Just the guys I practice with. There was one bit we kept getting wrong, so we spent a little longer in it than usual. She nods in acknowledgement, seemed to have accepted my reply. Oh, okay. Did you work it out in the end? I think so. Actually, I realise I need to talk to Kudo-sensei again and give him some answer to his quest, as he thinks I'm asking Haruka about the group right now. I have no idea what blank I'm going to make up yet, but I better get it over with, whatever it turns out to be. Would you mind if I ducked out a little earlier today? I know we haven't got much time anyway, but Kudo-sensei asked to see us near the end of free practice to go over it. I feel a bit mean lying to Haruka like this, but it's only a little white lie, so it's not the end of the world. I don't think you should appreciate knowing what Kudo-sensei had actually asked of me. No, that's fine, we can make it up for tomorrow, right? Oh no, this feels like it's gonna reel in another bad end. I exhale in relief, glad that she's not disappointed. Yeah, thanks. Shall we squeeze something in then, while we've still got time? She nods eagerly. Yeah, sure. Do you want to play or shall I? You go. I played with the guys for longer than usual already. Okay. Shyly, she picks up her flute once more and familiarises herself with her sheet music. She still seems a little bashful about playing solo in front of me, but I think it's probably down to the fact that it's Venus. I imagine she's really anxious about getting it right. She begins a piece, and as I watch her play with great concentration absorbed in the music, an odd, fuzzy sort of feeling comes over me. It makes me think that I've made the right decision in not trying to persuade her to abandon this again. Regardless of what anyone thinks, this is where Haruka belongs. This is what she's meant to do. Figure out for herself. I couldn't try to force her to do otherwise. Asking once? Fair enough. Asking twice? Shame on you. Asking 3 times, shame on me. With reluctance, I excused myself a little earlier as planned, and Haruka told me to forget about leaving school with her, wanted me to get on with whatever I need to do. That's probably for the best. I'd feel a little bad, but agreed nonetheless. We've always got tomorrow. The bell is due to ring in a few minutes, and after casting awkwardly around the room for a moment, I noticed Kudo-sensei heading back to his desk after talking to some club members. Running through the answer I've concocted in my head, I shuffle over to him. Ah, I take it you spoke to Fujiwara. I nod, feeling a little guilty for what I'm about to tell him, but I stick to it regardless. She doesn't want to join. I've asked this once. I've asked this twice. Surely you get the gist by now. His face drops as I expected it to, and I shift my weight a little uncomfortably as his shoulders droop. Well, I can't say I hadn't been particularly anticipating that, but it's still a shame to hear. I don't feel good about my second night in the space of 10 minutes, but I think this is for the best. Kudo-sensei's expression takes on an almost gloomy quality, something I've never seen from him before. I feel as though we're heading for another repeat, practicing all year, and then pulling out at the last minute. Nah, there's something different this time. Haruka has us now. He shakes his head, and I get the idea that he's more deflated about Haruka's lack of confidence than the prospect of her breaking the club rules again. What a disappointment. I nod, feeling as though my job is technically done here, but for some reason I feel like I should say something more. Having seen Haruka's passion for Venus, I think there might be a little more hope for the situation than Kudo-sensei is aware of. Wanting to convey this, I contemplate my thoughts before speaking. She's learnt a piece that she really loves. She seems pretty motivated about it. Kudo-sensei eyes me with intrigue, a slight glint of optimism growing in his face. Oh really? You think she might finally perform this year? I can't say for sure, but considering everything I know about her, and how much she's been throwing herself into Venus, I'd say the chance is probably as high as it's ever going to get. Yep. Maybe. He considers my words for a moment, his finger pressed to his lips as he muses, and then he straightens up, shrugging. Well, let's just hope that you're right, Akane. Hey, have I been wrong before? He puts on a breezer tone of voice, seeming to relax into his usual chipper demeanour. Thanks anyway, though I won't ask again. Please don't. Please do not. Relieved I nod, glad I won't be roped into asking any more potentially problematic questions. Yeah, in another timeline you did that. And look what happened there. Mid-fight into a game and you realise your phone is going. I haven't heard it, thanks to the volume of my TV, but the vibration had caused it to jiggle across the desk slightly. It's like having a control on vibrate and you notice it. Pausing the game, I check out the notification, intrigued when I see Haruka's name on the screen. Hey, I'm probably imagining things, but are you sure everything was okay today? I thought you'd sounded distracted during group practice. I didn't bring it up in case it'd make you feel bad. Up to old tricks again. I'm not really surprised anymore when she insinuates that she's been eavesdropping on our group practices. If anything, it makes me laugh. I'm about to type out some sort of excuse when I pause, thinking it over again, but for whatever reason, I feel like I might as well come clean about what was bothering me. Deleting what I'd already typed, I sent a different message instead. I'll be honest with you, Kudo-sensei asked me to try to persuade you to join the group again. Don't worry about it. I just told him that you weren't interested. A little flicker of doubt pops into my mind as the text reaches its recipient, but judging by the reply I got, I needn't have worried. Really? That's annoying of him. But he never said anything to me? No! If we tried to, well, another year would have been so angry at us, feeling a little awkward about having kept my motives to myself and revealed them. I know you wouldn't appreciate it, so I didn't ask. I told him that you were working really hard, so he didn't need to worry about you. I feel you're doing the right thing, trying to perform by yourself. I haven't come across too mushy or anything. When a reply comes in, I find myself smiling as I read it. You told him that? That's really nice of you, Kakeru. I am working hard, but I always have doubts. You think I'm doing okay? You're doing more than okay. That's an easy question to answer, and my thumbs bash out the message with ease. Definitely, you've learnt Venus so fast. She really has. It was only last week that she started, but she's already coming along in leaps and bounds. Probably because she's so excited about it. And that is half of the joy of learning something, or half of the factor of learning something. It's not your knowledge of being able to apply to learning something. It's the motivation to learn it. And when you're motivated, you want to learn it more. At a faster rate. I guess so. I'm doing my best. Anyway, thanks for saying that to Kudo-sensei. I really appreciate it. No problem. Glad that my actions have gone down well with her. I put my phone back onto my desk, figuring that the conversation's over, but... However, just about to unpause my game, another message comes in, so I switch my controller for my phone again. Do you think I can really do it this time? Absolutely. I guess she's feeling a little vulnerable. I can understand that perfectly, although my thumb's hovering over the keys for a moment, unsure on how to adequately word a decent reply to such a delicate question. In the end, I decide to just tell her the first words that come to my mind. Yes, you're dedicated. If anyone can do it, it's you. That might have crossed the mushy line after all. Whoops, I can't not be honest with her at a moment like this though. For some reason I hold my breath slightly as I open the message, but release it when I see that it's okay. Thank you, Kakeru. I'm touched that you think that. I relax, content with the knowledge that I might have helped her to feel better, but before I can reply, she sends another message again. The same goes for you, though. Like I said after the concert, if you really want to perform your piece, then don't give up on it. I believe you can do it, too. Let's both work hard, okay? I gaze at the text for a few moments, rereading it a couple of times, and then I find myself smiling. I'm not even in the same league as Haruka musically, but to have her tell me that she has faith in me too is really something. To have her at my side like this, and for us to be able to have each other's backs in the face of true peril, I'm grateful for it. Why is phone vibrates in the middle of the class? Oh no, is it Haruka again? I expect no. No, I realise it's not possible right now. We're still in class, and not only does she never text me at a time like this, but she also uses dictation to compose the messages, and she can't just whip out her phone and start talking to it in front of her teacher. Yeah, that'd be real bad. The notion makes me have a stiff little giggle. I see that it's indeed, instead of Haruka, the 4 boys from music club are chatting our group conversations, evidently ignoring their own teachers to send sneaky messages. The sight of a sudden flurry of activity surprised me. We haven't talked a whole lot in this group since they added me to it, only sending me the odd casual question about club pieces. I get a feeling since I'm not really part of their friendship group, they haven't wanted to partake in too much of their usual banter. They've probably made a separate group without me for that. Don't say that. However, on this occasion, I noticed I've been tagged in a couple of messages, so I survey the room to make sure Matsumo-sensei isn't about to catch me in the act before scrolling back to see what I've missed. Oh no, unusual. Instead of just waiting to talk to us all during our club session, 2 of the guys are asking us all to meet outside the cafeteria once this class ends, including me. It seems they want to organise something, though they haven't mentioned what it is yet. This is definitely irregular, and as soon as my brain processes the word cafeteria, my stomach clenches nervously. I don't go to the cafeteria. It's about as far away from my normal routine as you can get. However, messages do say to meet outside of it, not in it, so maybe they don't actually want to hang out in there. It could just be a brief chat outside and then back to our usual lunchtime activities. That's what you're hoping for, aren't you? I'm not sure what to think or how to respond, as I have no idea what this meeting is about. Considering that it's between club members, perhaps they just want to discuss something about our practices, or would rather do it face to face. I glance up at Matsumo-sensei to maintain the pretense that I'm paying attention, my thumb hovering over the text bar hesitantly. What should I say? I guess it's not so bad just to meet them and have a 5-minute chat, as long as that's all there it is. Summon some courage, I swear. I tell the chat that I'll be there. I met with happy responses, sending my phone into another stream of buzzes in my hand, and I scrambled to turn the vibration off. Stuffing it back into my pocket, straighten up and start scribbling down the notes I've missed, feigning ignorance. Yeah, that's for the best. What up, Agony? Glad you could make it. We're just waiting on the others now. Before I could say anything, the other guy butts in. You know, we should just go in and get a table. This is not part of what I wanted. Oh no, we're going in. Freak, I'm not prepared for this. To my dismay, the other boy agrees and we both turn to each other into the cafeteria. I'm terrified. But peering attentively from behind them, I notice that there aren't too many people there yet, which is something you'll probably get very busy while we're there though. Unfortunately, I can't exactly leave straight after arriving, using the fact to keep tethered to my obligation. I grit my teeth and grudgingly follow them inside. The sound of chairs scraping against the floor carefree, and that music, and chopsticks clacking against bowls fills my ears as we head across the room, taking seats at a free table near the wall. I plant myself down, my limbs feel wooden and uncooperative, and glance around timidly. There aren't too many people here, but the tables that are occupied feel way too close to me somehow that I can boxed in. I'll give the others a text and tell them to get a move on. The other boy smirks and we all grow quiet as his thumbs start hammering on the keys. After a couple of uneventful minutes, the 2 missing boys appear, jogging over and apologising for their late arrival. While the 4 of them tease each other about tardiness, I take another look around. The room is a little busier, but as I eye each table in turn, I realise that pretty much everyone is just getting on with their days. Exactly. Girls giggle together as they pore over someone's phone, and boys laugh as they tell anecdotes and jokes with each other over their food. It's just a regular day for them, and my unusual presence seems to be going rather unnoticed. Exactly. Why do we need to stare at somebody just because of their condition? Okay, well I guess I can handle this, as long as no one starts making a fuss about me. Hopefully those girls who keep going on about Fujiwara do not come across to us. I'll will myself to calm down and tune back into the conversation. Right, anyway, we wanted to talk to you about having another meetup. Yeah, Akane couldn't make it last time, so it'd be cool if we could all do something together before it gets too close to the festival. All my muscles tense up upon hearing this, and I have to mask my trepidation as they carry on chatting. Well, it pretty much only leaves this weekend, doesn't it? We could do something after club one day next week, but that's probably pushing it a bit. The others shake their heads. No, that is too late. We need to concentrate on the piece. Well, how about tomorrow or Sunday then? What does everyone fancy doing? I fancy just not going to it. Talk devolves into scattering musing. As everyone throws suggestions to Marina, remains silent, quietly fretting over the situation that's unfolding. Last time they invited me somewhere, I had the mother of all panic attacks. I don't feel like enjoying a repeat performance of that. I'm sure what to do with myself and how to participate in the conversation. I'll simply listen to them debate. How about the coffee shop again? We've been there since that time we invited Akane and didn't get to come. It's pretty chilled out. We don't have to do anything crazy. The other boys shared glances before shrugging and agreeing. Apparently haven't come to a conscience about the matter. Okay, cool. How does tomorrow sound? Around noon? Everyone shows their approval of the plan. The guy who'd asked turns his gaze towards me. How about you, Akane? Can you make tomorrow? This again. I freeze for a moment and in an attempt to improvise I try to look as though I'm thinking hard about this question. In reality, I just have no idea how to answer him. Might be busy. I splutter out loud as a latest excuse, feeling guilty for lying about it. I just can't respond to something as massive as this on the fly like that. I need time to think. Like he seems to pick up on it, or at least figure that answering on the spot isn't a big deal. Just message us tonight then. We've got time to change our plans if we need to. Snatching at reprieve gratefully, I nod. Yeah, I'll ask my parents what we're doing. To my relief, the guys don't seem too bothered by my uncertainty, accepting the situation and turning back to each other with casual expressions. What's casual? Naturally, the topic of conversation drifted to our club activities, and realising that the scariest part of the scenario is over, I'll try to relax a little, now that I'm not under interrogation. You wasn't under interrogation the first time around! None of the boys had intended to do it to feel that way for me. I'll force myself to be considerate and join in the conversation as much as I dare to. Talk about music and our festival preparations, and then one of the boys stand up. I've just realised I need to take some stuff back to the library. Clinging to his announcement like a lifeline, I also raise my feet. I've got something to do too. Apparently fine with it, the other guys nod nonchalantly. We all bid us goodbye and I follow the boy who's leaving with me, sticking somewhat close to him in the hope of gaining some sort of cover from any roaming eyes. You think that everyone's watching you, like the organisation is watching Rintaro Okabe and Steins Gate. Once we're out into the corridor again, I heave a sigh of relief, and we head towards the stairs. The boy next to me grimaces as he glances upwards towards the banisters. Ugh. I always forget to take stuff back. I need to stop getting late fines. I chuckle in response, eyeing the main doors of the building and yearning for an escape. I'm heading this way. Syrian Club? He shoots me a casual smile. Yeah, sure. See you later. He slips off into the crowd, joining the train of students heading up the stairs, and I let the tension drain from my body, exiting into the afternoon light and revealing in the fact I'm finally alone. Oh no. Let's see, sweet solitude. I take my usual seat, ripping my lunchbox from my bag and scoffing down my food, feeling more grounded once it starts to hit my stomach. That had been an interesting start to lunch break. Let's put that away. Instinctively, my mind wants to start tearing apart the situation I'm now in, trying to figure out what I'm going to do about this invitation. However, feeling a little tired from having to endure the front of the cafeteria, I just don't want to face that right now. Pushing it aside as best as I can, I just try to enjoy the rest of my now uneventful break before my brain eventually starts working overtime. I do really understand why you wouldn't want to risk another panic attack. I'd be exactly the same. I'm not. Forget it for a moment that it's futile, waist deep in my own thoughts. You have done some stuff with me and my parents though, so you're not as bad as you think. Yeah, I thought that earlier. I guess it's good that she's noticing the same apparent improvement I am. It makes me feel more real. I actually went to the cafeteria with them when they asked me at lunch. Like, I sat down and talked to them like a normal person for about 15 minutes. You didn't. You were mostly silent throughout the entire conversation. I don't know how I did it. I injected a hint of amusement into my voice, and Haruka's eyebrows shoot upwards in response. Really? That's impressive, Kakeru. There's no way I'd be able to do that. I appreciate her praise, but for a moment a smirk marks its way onto my face as I realised just how lame this conversation would sound to the average person. Have you heard us marvelling over sitting in the cafeteria? How pathetic are we? As soon as I pointed out, she giggles and I follow suit. God, we're the worst. Well, I think we're allowed. I chuckle and she grows slightly more serious again as she continues. But if you did really do that, then a coffee shop's kind of similar, isn't it? There it is again. She's repeating everything that I've already said to myself. I must be on the right track and encouraging myself to feel okay about this situation, though it's tough to actually put it into motion properly. Yeah, I think so. I just need to get my head around that. It's really hard. She nods with empathy, knowing exactly what I mean. If it's too stressful, then I don't think it's bad if you turn it down. It's nice that they invite you again, though. To be honest, it surprises me now that I think about it. I guess maybe they just want to get to know me better. But now that we're working together, or perhaps it's more out of a sense of pity. No, it's not that last bit of a sentence. In fact, Kudo-sensei might even have allowed them to try to include me more, to bring me further out of my shell. I hope not. That reaches an extra level of lame. It could be out of duty, you know, to make me actually talk to people. You better watch out, Haruka. You might be next. Wow, more? We both burst out laughing, both amused and horrified at the thought. Oh god, no thanks. Can you imagine me hanging out with them, trying to talk about whatever cool people talk about? I haven't a clue. Haruka, you're cool. Don't you dare say that you're not cool. Neither have I. More giggles ensue, and once they die down, Haruka gazes towards me with an honest expression. But seriously, if it's still too much for you, don't feel like you can't say no, but if you really do want to go, then I think you'd be okay this time. I regard her with uncertainty, though I appreciate her encouragement, and our steady conversation has helped me to unwind a little. Thanks. I'll think about it properly tonight. Craning my neck to see the clock, I realise that we wasted almost all of our time on my problem. God, that's selfish. Sorry, I've just seen the time. Practice is nearly over. Oh well, don't worry. Do we have time for both of us to do a run through of our pieces? Not really. We've barely got 5 minutes unless we go super fast. Just about. You play Venus. Quick! She exhales in amusement, turning back to her cheap music and readying her flute. And I scuttle over to the piano and get my own music prepared. Glad to put the matter of the weekend behind me for a little longer. I focus intently on her as she begins to play. Hey, are you going with the guys today? I didn't tell her about my decision last night. I've been so nervous. I think I just threw myself into homework and games just to try to distract myself from it. I tab her reply confirming that I am in fact going to attempt to make it this time. That's great. Do you feel better about it than last time? Yeah, a little. It's partially thanks to Haruka's encouragement. Wanting to show my gratitude, but also want to avoid sounding sappy, I tentatively type a response. A bit, yeah. You helped me a lot yesterday, so thanks. A little heat rushes to my cheeks as I send it, but luckily no one else is around to see it. Aw, I'm glad I could help. We could talk about stuff anytime. It's almost odd to have someone on my side that I feel comfortable spelling my insecurities to. Given how locked down I've been all this time, but I certainly won't refuse it. I'm about to send her a generic reply when I find myself hesitating. I haven't really thought about my trepidation as I've been texting her, distracted by our conversation. In a way, I could really do with keeping it up a little longer. It might help me go through with this. Feeling awkward and strange about asking her for such a thing, I push the keys sluggishly, unsure of whether I should send the message or not. In the end, I just do it anyway. This might sound weird, but would you mind texting a bit longer while I'm traveling? Oh no, I guess she gets the picture. Of course not. You'll make it this time, Kakeru, and you'll have a good time. Let's focus on that, shall we? I feel like we've become a parent and child, or a therapist coaching a patient. It's not the best thing, but considering the difficulty I'm about to face, I almost don't really care. I just want something to help me stick to my promise of meeting them. Sure. I send a message and then finish getting ready. When I can't put off leaving any longer, I reluctantly head downstairs. I hesitate in front of the kitchen, but then conclude that I'm just too nervous to eat any breakfast. If I actually manage this hangout, I could grab something at a coffee shop. Realizing that there's nothing else to do but head out, I round the corner towards the couch where my parents are sitting. I told them last night about my decision to try and hang out with the guys again, and while they may be enthusiastic about it, I can also sense worry. Not surprising. I think they're also concerned about the possibility of another panic attack, but I really don't want to address that. I just want to get on with things, and act like it's not even plausible. I'm leaving now. Hello, they're shifting their seats, seeming both excited and a little worried. Have a good time, and remember, just come back home if you're feeling overwhelmed, or you can always give either of us a call. Dad nods in agreement. Definitely. You'll be alright, son. It's both comforting and unnerving at the same time. I nod and say goodbye, putting on my shoes and heading out into the sun. Into the wonderful sun. Striding down the street, I shove my hands into my pockets to stop myself from fidgeting nervously. However, after a minute or two, I find myself slowing my pace. Oh no, not a strange thing again. Oh right, this is the spot where I had my panic attack last time. God, I don't really want to remember any of that. I feel my anxiety start to bunch in my stomach, and my chest begins to tighten. No, we're not doing this again. Just keep walking and... God, that was just my phone. Jesus, scared me. Fumbling with it, I put it in my pocket and read the screen as I force myself to keep heading down the street. So what drink do you think you'll get at a coffee shop? I go to places like that with my parents sometimes. I guess she's delivering on my request to keep talking, trying to keep my frame thoughts in order. I reply, no idea. I never go to them. I'll just see what sounds nice. Come on, man. Surely you must have researched a little bit last night of what you can get in a coffee shop. What's sweet, what's bitter, what's rich, what's juicy. I get the feeling that coffee shops are pretty popular with most people my age, but thanks to my hermit ways, I'm severely out of the loop. I guess I'm about to find out what the appeal is. I think I picked a mango passion tea. It'd be nice on a warm day like this. I don't know what a mango passion tea is, but it sounds pretty sugary and sweet. My feet automatically bring me to a halt, and looking up from my phone, I realise I've made it to the bus stop, completely on autopilot thanks to the texting. Well, that's good, I guess. I've come further than last time. Shooting back a reply, clinging to my phone like I needed to live, I take a deep breath and wait for both the bus and Haruka's next message. Okay, I'm still going. The bus had arrived not too much later, and I'd taken my usual seat at the back. Haruka and I have been talking the entire time, continuing the partial distraction from my nerves. To be honest, I feel a little guilty that she's essentially spending her morning coaching me through my journey, when she could be practicing. However, I also feel a strong gratitude for her constant support. Consistent is not too far from it, though. She's probably the person I trust more than anyone else by now. Come on, there's your parents! I should really make sure to give her the same encouragement in return. I look down on the new notification, expect to be Haruka again, but to my surprise, it's a group chat. Upon opening it, I see one of the guys has made us up a coffee shop and is checking in with everybody else. I contribute my own reply telling them I'm on the bus and will be there in about 10 minutes. If the other boys say similar things, and as the chat goes quiet, I lean forward to cover my Hemangioma with my hands, breathing through my growing nerves. Let's just keep thinking about the positives and talking to Haruka. Let's just keep talking to Haruka. Think about the positives. Here I am, walking through the city streets, making my way to the coffee shop. I look it up online, but first time I try to go there, so I vaguely know where it is. Another quick check on my phone tells me that all of the boys are already there and have got a table near the back. They told me to just head straight in. I show Haruka one last message, thank her for talking me through my nerves and telling her that I'll have to stop texting now. I don't know if ever I've lost that little boost in my courage, but it'd be rude of me to keep texting one with the guys. Yeah, exactly. Pocketing my phone and wind my way around a side street, and after a moment I see the coffee shop on the end of the block coming to a stop in front of it. This is it. Okay, just stay calm. It's not going to be as bad as I think it will. We're just hanging out and having some drinks. Not alcohol drinks. No one's going to stare at me or say anything rude. It'll be alright. Oh man, I'm not sure about this. I hover awkwardly beside the window, peering in while keeping myself just out of view. I can't see the guys from here. Only strangers arranged in pairs and groups, chatting and drinking their beverages. My stomach bubbles with fear and my body starts to feel paralysed, rooted to the ground. I begin to worry that I might not be able to force myself to go in, but as I'm silently refraining trepidation, I become aware of a buzzing sensation of my leg. Oh, my phone. Fishing out of my pocket, I open the message I received from Haruka, probably in response to me telling her that I'm going quiet. Good luck, Kakeru. Enjoy a drink for me. Okay, Haruka, I will. Sucking in a deep breath, which pops out of my chest in a completely false display of confidence, I slide my phone back into my pocket and pull the door open, stepping inside. I'm not looking at anyone. The boys had said that they were sitting near the back of a room. I barged straight through the shop, snacking between the tables at what is probably a startling pace to any onlookers, trying to maintain absolute tunnel vision. That's a bad thing. After a moment, I catch sight of one of the guys waving ahead of me, and increase my speed as I head towards him, glad to have found my destination without an awkward period of casting around cluelessly. The boys all swivel in their seats and greet me similarly, and I nod at them, all collectively as I approach the table, taking the free seat sheepishly. Hey Agony, you didn't get sick this time? No, I didn't have a panic attack like last time. I was very close, but then Haruka was once again there to save the day. Everyone chuckles and I try to join in, though the noise I end up producing probably resembles a gloat bleating more than a laugh. God, I'm so nervous. As the guys share a moment of banter, I steal a few glances around the room, now that I'm settled. Okay, our table is quite close to the back corner, so anyone coming into the shop and buying their drinks will be at the opposite end of the room. As well as that, I see that though the place is quite busy, it seems to be a repeat of the cafeteria at school. Yeah, people just going about in their day-to-day activities. I think the only kind of people that have a slight interest is people who are on their own. Everyone's engrossed in their own conversations, enjoying their drinks and food without really paying attention to others. Alright, I guess I can do this. I just need to slow my heart rate down and take a minute to adjust. The boys tell me that they'd waited for me to arrive before ordering drinks, and then the conversation automatically devolves to everyone musing about what they're going to get. Remain silent for a little longer, I'll let them talk as I say my breathing, trying to quell my trepidation. When I tune back into the conversation, they seem to have all decided what they're having pretty quickly. What about you? What about you, Akane? What do you want? I haven't a clue. I have no concept of what drinks are on offer besides basic coffee and tea and what's trendy at the moment. I want to try to break the ice since I haven't said a word yet. I forced myself to speak. I haven't been to a coffee shop in a long time, so I'm not sure. I must sound like a total loser. But even if the boys think of it, don't say it. Instead bombarding me with suggestions before one of them pipes up with an instruction. Everyone just give me your money and I'll go and order for us. No point in all of us going up. Oh yeah, good idea. Yep. Everyone digs into their pockets and wallets, producing notes and coins, and I do the same, having no idea how much I'm going to need to contribute. Still being no wiser as to what I should order, I figure I might as well just let the guys choose for me. Surprise me! I slide my money across the table towards him as I say so, and a smirk appears on his face as he nods. Ha! Living on the edge, Akane. It's like that Austin Powers me. I see you also like to live life dangerously. I like it. He'll giggle, and then start insisting that he'd better not pick me something bad. But how do we know, since we don't know what his taste buds are like? I haven't thought of that, but to be honest, I don't think I'm very fussy with my taste, so I'll probably be okay with anything. After visibly pondering for a moment, the boy takes one of the coins out of a pile of money he had handed and offers it to me. Give it a flip. I guess I'm choosing between two drinks that he has in mind. Going along with it, I'll flip the coin and catch it back in my hand, revealing the side with the floral design. So, tails. Grinning, he takes it back to me and heads off to the counter to seal my caffeine-laden fate. Another boy joined him to help carry the drinks back to the table. Yes. The two guys are left eyeing me casually, and I feel pretty bashful and unsure what to say. So, why haven't you been to a place like this in so long? It's an innocent question, but the truth isn't something I want to confess, so after struggling for a moment, I give a half-baked reply. I used to go with friends, but I don't talk to them anymore. Sure, let's go with that. Well, you can always come with us. whenever we all feel like it. We do stuff most weekends. But thanks. The other remaining boy nods. Now I feel both embarrassed and kind of appreciative. I'm also totally not ready to imagine anything like that yet. I'm barely managing to sit here for the first time. Never mind doing it on a regular basis, and this is our second attempt at doing it. After a couple more minutes, the two boys who'd gone up to the counter returned with everybody's drinks in hand, doling them out dutifully. The guy who made me flip the coin, making a fuss of presenting me with my drink, accompanied by a drum roll on the table from the other guys, which makes my face grow hot with embarrassment. Ta-da! He places what looks like an iced drink in front of me with a large towel of what seems to be whipped cream on top. Oh my, it must be a hot drink. It's got layers of brown and white running through it, and I gaze at it for a moment, having never had a drink so fancy looking in my life. I guess my perplexed reaction is pretty funny because the boys crack up laughing. My cheeks continue to burn, but I enjoy paying attention to and examine the drink, turning the cup this way and that. But what is it? An iced vanilla... Okay, so it's not a hot drink, because some hot drinks do have cream on the top of it, whipped cream. An iced vanilla coffee. It's got coffee flavoured jelly at the bottom. Ooh. He points to the base of the transparent cup, and I see the dark mass he's referring to. I didn't even realise that iced drinks came with jelly. Yeah, some of them do. When did coffee start resembling dessert? Yep. Intrigued, I bring the straw to my mouth and give it a try. This is really nice. Is this what I've been missing out on all these years by refusing to go outside? I could drink this every day. I advise not to. It's great. Not every day. The boys grin, taking sips of their own drinks, clearly amused by my lack of coffee expertise, but not in a rude way. Try the cream. It's the custard one, isn't it? He directs his question at the guy next to him, and he nods. Yes, custard flavoured cream. Interested, I move the straw upwards so I can get some of the cream and take a drink. It's even nicer than the jelly, and my taste buds feel as though they're dancing for a moment. I really do just eat and drink the same stuff every day, don't I? This is delicious. Yeah, when you eat and drink the same stuff every day, it becomes kind of bland. Even if it's delicious, you still have that same sense of familiarity as to what you're eating and drinking. What was the other option? Oh, there's many different options. Coffee shops. There are so many different options of what you can purchase, you know. You can even purchase bag stuff so you can take it home and make it yourself. But that's more expensive, I think. Or is it? I guess you don't need the machinery that the coffee shops do. Or do you? I figured I'd stick with iced coffee since it's pretty warm. But I was probably going to go find a cheesecake flavoured one. Oh, that's a good one. Cheesecake? What a wondrous world this coffee shop deal is. I feel like I've deprived of so many tasty things, all thanks to my anxiety, but well, at least I'm here now, just about. Hey, if you didn't improve so much, sorry, then you would have had another panic attack. In fact, as we all settled down into chat and enjoying our drinks, I realised I'd been so enthralled by my coffee that I almost forgot about my nerves. The thought causes my stomach to do a little flip, but surveying our immediate surroundings once more, I see that the coast is still pretty clear. We talk for a while longer, and when our cups are roughly half empty, one of the boys raises his eyebrows and nudges the guy next to him, looking as though he just remembers something. Shall we start then? The guy he nudged gains a look of comprehension, as does everybody else. Oh yeah, there's a reason we like this coffee shop. Acne, you can be on my team if you want. Team? What are we doing? I follow the two with my eyes perplexed as they get up from their seats and head over to a rack of shelves on the back wall, watching as they return with several boxes. Oh, I see, they're board games. I guess the shop provides them for customers to play while they're socializing. That's a cool idea in a way. Just as long as they don't stain the board games themselves. They're like books, you preserve them with care if you want to play them again. Taking another look around, I spy a couple on the table halfway across the room, and I haven't noticed before, playing some sort of card game. I haven't played a board game for a while, but my parents and I used to play them in the evening sometimes when I was younger, so I'm probably not too out of shape. Everyone moves their drinks to the edges of the table as the first game is set up and we begin our little tournament. I'm pretty awkward and unsure of myself to start with, but I do gradually begin to relax over time. The boys stay just as nonchalant and friendly as always, without drawing too much unnecessary attention to me. At some points, I'm almost a spectator as opposed to a team member, but I really don't mind. If anything, it helps me to stay somewhat calm, observing without having to speak too much or have them all look at me. In the middle of things, someone offers to grab us some snacks, and handing some more of my money over, I grab myself a toasted sandwich, my stomach growling for having skipped breakfast. We continue to eat, drink and play, with plenty of jokes from the boys. With plenty of cold ones from the boys. Okay, not that one. But I still don't feel like I'm fully a part of their group. I'm starting to grow more familiar with them. Not quite as much of a stranger in their eyes. It feels very strange to be spending this much time socializing with anybody other than Haruka, but I guess our collective suspicion has been correct. The more time I spend with these guys, the easier I'll find it to be around them. We finish up the current game and then decide to call it a day, having played several by now. We slurp down the last dregs of our coffees, and then one of the boys speaks up. So, how is everyone doing about the festival? Do you reckon our performance is up to scratch? Absolutely. And I say this as a person who plays a piano, who doesn't have a piano, and can't exactly carry around a piano on our backs. Everyone begins to share their thoughts, and while they all seem relatively confident, I am riddled with doubt. I imagine that most of these guys have been performing at the festival for years. Realizing I don't actually know their history when it comes to the club, I timidly ask. It turns out, as I suspected, but 2 of them have been in the club since our first year at the school. A 3rd one joined the year after. There's 4 of them though. The 3 of them performed every year since they become members. The only other person to have never played at the festival being the 4th guy, who also joined this year like me but at the beginning. It's no wonder they're all quite optimistic about the performance. It's business as usual for most of them. Even the newer guy doesn't seem too worried. As for his stories, he has some small experience with performing in public before, outside of school. I'm the only clean slate out of the 5 of us, the only one having never done anything remotely like that. I guess I'm glad I'm in a group with this many experienced players, as they can guide me. So how do we start? So how did you start, Akane? How long have you played piano? Basha gave him an awkward and uninspiring account of how I picked up the instrument as a child through private lessons, before giving up for a number of years, eventually starting again to join the club. They seem interested, and don't tease me for being less experienced, so it's not so bad. We all have our own different experiences after all. We took turns to live concerts we've been to. I finally have something recent to contribute. I went to a concert with Fujiwara a few days ago. It was classical music through the ages. A few eyebrows rise, and they look sort of impressed. That's hardcore, Akane. I've never seen an orchestral before. We laugh, and I feel a bit better after having seemed slightly knowledgeable about something for once. Once it dies down, it fixes me with an interesting gaze. You know, it's pretty cool that you're friends with Fujiwara. She seriously never talks to anyone in the club, hardly even Kudo-sensei. It's kind of a shame. Yeah, she's supposed to be pretty good at the flute. I think a few people were hoping she'd join the group eventually, but Kudo-sensei always said she's too scared. The 4 of them seemed generally disappointed for a moment, and I'm surprised, having not realized the extent of how much I consider Haruka over the years. I get that she's blind and it must be horrible, but she should join. No one would be mean to her. Try telling that to her, though. Try telling that to her. It's a visceral situation. They all shake their heads as if to banish the thought of anyone bullying Haruka. Still, at least she's got you, Akane. She probably really appreciates it. Yeah, I'm not sure how to handle the compliment, but I nod in response, feeling my cheeks start to blush furiously again. These guys are pretty decent. We chat a little longer, then decide to end our hangout session so that the 4 of them can go home and practice their instruments. After joking about how LBGC is probably going to be learning the song any of us know after this, we make our way outside. You know other songs, it's just that this particular song you know a bit better, after listening to it so many more times. The warm air is a bit of a shock after the coolness of the shop's air conditioning as we all stride down the streets until it seems as though everyone's wanting to split off in various directions. Hey Akane, do you want to swap numbers? I know you're in the chat, but you might want to call each other if we're meeting up again. Oh, that's a good idea. Can I have it too? I'm momentarily flummoxed by their sudden requests, but I take out my phone and save everyone's numbers along with giving them mine. As the guy closest to me goes to save it, I notice that he's called me Akane in his phone. Realise that I should have probably attempted to be more friendly with him. I say something I've only said to Haruka during my time at the school. But by the way, just call me Kakeru. They all grin, seeming pleased to be on first name terms with me, and I return it. My face turned red once more. I think this is just my thing now. Maybe if I blush real hard. No. Alright, we'll see you on Monday then. I guess everybody's ready to head out. Yeah, thanks for inviting me. No problem. We'll have to do it again sometime. Oh gosh, not again! We all bid our goodbyes, and I'm turning to leave. One of the boys' voices reached my ears. Later, Kakeru! Huh? This feels so strange, and yet it's kind of nice. I threw him a wave over my shoulder, and reading in a way I can't really describe. I make my way to the bus station with speed. Oh yeah. It's not until I'm sitting on the bus, my eyebrows practically in my hairline, but I'm starting to come back to reality. I did it. Holy sheesh. I actually did it. I don't know why this feels like such an achievement, although I guess it's mostly because I failed the first time. Yeah, that's the main difference between the last time and this time. Not only did you succeed this time, but you succeeded really well. I can't believe I gave it a second shot and came through. Usually, once something screws up, it puts me off forever. Well, I don't even know what to think now, but I guess I can be somewhat proud of myself. Not only that, but I think being in the club will be a lot more comfortable for me now, having gained these guys' friendship, even if it's only in a small way. They've been good about my condition too, never mentioned it once, and they even said nice things about Haruka. I guess they really are decent people around. There are really decent. I guess there really are decent people around. Just say the words on the screen, Flare. For once. I just never trusted before, which is not unusual. So is this the beginning of a real social life for me? Is hanging out with the guys going to be a regular thing on top of the time I spent with Haruka? I'm a bit flustered as the idea. Still probably not quite ready for that yet. However, the idea that I'm becoming more like the others in school, with their friends, hobbies and weekends, excursions is quite exciting. Who am I? And what have I done with Akane? I've forgotten where the origination of that meme was from. Like, who are you? And what have you done with it? My parents are going to do backflips when I tell them when I manage it. Well, not literally. Although that would be pretty funny. What up, my dude? Haruka? As I close the door and turn around to greet Haruka, I immediately notice that how out of sorts she seems. She looks a little gloom and her flute lies in its open case rather than in her hands. Hasn't she been practicing? When she realizes that I'm here, she jumps and straightens up, forcing a smile onto her face that I don't quite believe. Ah, Kakeru. Hi. How are you today? I'm good. You? Instead of addressing what's on her mind, she keeps up the happy pretense. Yeah, fine. How did practice go? There's definitely something going on. Ignoring her question for now, I tentatively pose one of my own. Are you okay, Haruka? You seem a bit down. For a moment she tries to maintain her sunny disposition, but it quickly begins to crack, and probably realizing it's not going to work, she lets it slide. I've just been a bit worried. You can tell me if you want. I don't mind chatting for a bit instead of practicing, if it'll make her feel better, because if you unload any uncertainties off now, it will help you practice for the future. So taking 10 minutes away from your practice to be able to unload what you need to say, so that then you can concentrate, is better than trying to concentrate with having that uncertainty in your head. I started feeling kind of bad yesterday. She paused and I realised that I might be making her feel a little on the spot, having not moved from the doorway. I crossed the room and set up a piano stool, putting some distance between us. I'm not sure if it helped, but she continues regardless. I feel like, well, I'm just worried I'll cave in and lose my nerve about the performance. Kudo-sensei collared me earlier too, to check my progress, and it made things worse. She fidgeted with her hands, evidently uneasy. I don't want to pull out of the festival this year, but I always do. She goes quiet, and in the dense silence that ensues as I find myself sympathizing with her. She's been through this plenty of times before, and she knows what track record is. And she knows what her track record is. It's totally understandable she's feeling this way. It makes sense. I don't blame you for being worried, but I'm not good with advice. I guess I'll just see what my brain comes out with us. You are pretty determined, right? She nods slowly. So you've got the motivation, and you've got Venus now too. Hopefully if you stick to that, you manage to go through with it this time. I'm not sure that was very helpful, but it's all I can think of with my situation, and I'm probably the least qualified person to offer guidance to anyone. Yeah, I know what you mean. When I first wanted to perform in public, I felt more certain about it, but now I really don't. The years of failure must weigh heavily on her. I can't fully understand that part of her viewpoint, considering that until now, I never really strived to do anything myself. As sad as it is, my refusal to have a dream kind of saved me from disappointment in a messed up way. I still feel differently nowadays. Thanks to Haruka. I feel like having a dream is still a positive thing, even if for people like us. You know, I really had no ambition to play the piano, or really do anything, when I first joined the club. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but let's find out. Yeah, let's do this. I only came here because I was coerced. It just changed over time. I guess once I began practicing properly and made friends with you... Let's not make this too slushy. I started seeing things differently. I felt like I wanted to try to do something. But you know what I'm like. I still have no idea if I'm actually going to be able to do this thing. It's terrifying just to think about. Sometimes, I feel like I must have been mad to agree to it. True story. But I guess what I mean is, I'm kinda enjoying just working towards it. I never thought I would, but practicing with you and the guys in the group, I like it now. In small flashes, I've started to have fun in this club after all. I think when I focus on just playing for the sake of playing, I enjoy it. The show still gives me the creeps when I think about it, but I guess that's what I've been trying to avoid. I'm just concentrating on having good practices. That last bit there, that was truly encouraging, about just having good practices. And that's, I think, is the most important part about music in general, is enjoying yourself, being able to perform well. When all of your work suddenly flowers and blooms, that's a good thing. I might have had some idea at the beginning, but by this point, I feel like I've just rambled about myself for a few minutes without Haruka helping out at all. However, a look of comprehension starts to take over her face, slowly blotting out of her gloomy expression. The journey is more important than the destination. Yes! Yes, that! I guess that is what I've been trying to say in my own stupid way, but you can't say it's a stupid way because you explained your journey in a way, rather than just saying it's the journey rather than the destination. Yeah, maybe. I'm not exactly smart when it comes to these things, but I think that's what I'm beginning to experience in the run-up to this festival. The thing that is more important to enjoy than you're doing while you're doing it, and not focus on a huge milestone that scares you. Either that, or I'm just a massive sissy who doesn't dare actually face the situation that bothers him. That seems more likely, but for the sake of trying to feel slightly better about myself, let's go with the first one. Haruka considers the idea for a few minutes, and then she begins to brighten, little by little. No. You're right, Kakeru. I should know that myself by now. I love music so much, so I should just enjoy playing it at all. If a performance happens, then it'd be amazing, but I guess it's not so bad if I don't do it. I can sense that she isn't fully behind her last statement. I know for a fact that Haruka will never want to give up on her dream, and doing what feels like accepting defeat will hurt her greatly. However, she can focus on the present moment a little more, then it might help her to work her way towards that performance in the end. I still think you can do it. I think if we both concentrate on just playing, we might get there one day. In response, she hums a soft sound, a little smile growing on her face. maybe you're right. Another silence falls over us, and as I'm musing over the situation, I realise that there's still one piece of encouragement I can give her, even if things go completely wrong for myself. If you do perform... now I feel like it sounds embarrassing. I'm glad she can't see the shade of pink that takes over my cheeks. You know I'd be there. Even if I don't perform myself, I still come and watch you. It's cringe-worthy, but it's true. You couldn't be more right. If I left the club right now and swore never to touch a piano again as long as I'd lived, there'd be no way in hell that I wouldn't show up to support Haruka if she went through it. That's just set in stone for me. Haruka turns her gaze towards me more directly, looking as though my words have touched her somewhat. Really? You'd still come? Of course, why wouldn't I? With how she's ended up sucking me into this dream of hers, I couldn't pass up the chance to see it come true for her. Perhaps she hadn't been as sure about herself, as she seems a little conflicted as she looks at me. This is going to sound stupid. She grows tense again, blushing somewhat and seeming more embarrassed, but I still want her to say whatever it is that's on her mind. Go on. It won't. Well, after you had such a good time with the guys at the coffee shop, I thought you might not hang out with me so much if you made new friends. What do you mean by that? That in a way is kind of selfish, but I get what you're getting at, Haruka. She's worried I'll abandon her for some guys I still don't know that well, despite everything that we've talked about and done together. Not a chance. There's no way I'd do that, Haruka. Haruka's the person who started all of this for me, in a way. The only reason I'd be able to be around these guys is because of my time with her. There's no way I could replace her with some random people. Knowing this to be true, I tell her something I've just realised. You're... something that I'm embarrassed to say. You're my best friend. Aww. Yeah, she is, I can't deny it. She squirms for a moment, seeming unsure on how to process this information, but then she looks up at me, a streak of optimism in her eyes. Really? Yeah. Her smile returns bigger than before. You too, Kakeru. You're my best friend too. The two of us let out awkward giggles, feeling a bit wooden, but it seems as though Haruka's low mood is slowly lifting. Thanks for saying all of that. It's okay. We rest in the silence. Still bashful, but it feels more comfortable now. Amongst all my waffling, I'm glad some of it has helped Haruka feel better, even if only by a little. It's probably almost time to leave. Will you play for me? I guess she wants to take a backseat due to her vulnerability, and I understand perfectly. Opening my sheet music and finding my starting point on the piano keys. Sure. And we folks are going to leave it off this time in the kitchen. So thank you so much for watching, guys. This is definitely a more positive route than selecting to try and push her a second time as to join the group and do a group performance. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you all in the next Summer Venus Improbable Dream. There's a sign to turn from improbable to possible. Probable. Either one of those two. Probable, possible. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.